Hey there, I'm Ian Douglas. I'm the author of the website techinterview.guide, and I'm here to help people with career advancement and interview preparation. My live stream on Twitch covers topics such as company research, how to build resumes and cover letters, applying for the job, getting through interviews, and what to do during negotiations. I've coached thousands and thousands of people over the years to get jobs at the biggest tech companies in the industry, and I'm here to help you too. The following episode is taken from a longer live stream event and may contain interactions with other people in chat. Check out the end of the episode for more information. Let's get to it. Sethi asks, would it be a good idea to have a 2-column resume for sending the resume directly to a recruiter and a regular one for applying to get past the applicant tracking system? So that's a really good question as well. Having 2 different formats is a little bit tricky because if you apply to a job with one resume, that's going to go into the applicant tracking system. If you send a different one to the recruiter, they may try and put that in the applicant tracking system anyway. So now you're in there twice and you may get pulled up on multiple things, or they may just go in and throw out the old one and put in the new one that you send them. So I would say as long as you get the keywords on either resume, it probably doesn't matter which one that you submit. When it comes to the 2-column format, I've heard anecdotally from exactly one recruiter. I have not verified this with any other recruiter. Rather, I have not had any other recruiter verify this for me. But this one recruiter said that when an applicant tracking system sees a resume with 2 columns, it treats the left column with less importance than the right column, because the typical layout that is seen on these things is a really skinny left column and a really wide right column. And so that left column might be like your contact info, maybe a list of like a vertical list of your skills, maybe your education, and then all your project work and all the really important stuff that you want to see is going to be in that right column. And so some applicant tracking systems, according to this recruiter, put more value on the content in that right column because it sees it that it's wider and that there's more information on that side. And so it may treat it with different weights. Again, I haven't been able to verify that with anybody else, so I don't know whether that's true. I don't think there's anything wrong one way or the other with a 2-column format. Where I would caution people is having an exact 50-50 split where they're both exactly the same width, because when you think about visual design, I'm not going to read this column and then go read this column. I'm scanning down that page one time to try to determine in a hurry, does this bring value to me and my team? If I can't find that value, you're going on the no pile. If I kind of see value, you're going on the maybe pile, and then maybe I'll review it a second time with a little more, careful look. And if not, you're going back on the no pile, or maybe you're going to get a phone call out of it. So as much as possible, you want to try to draw their eye across the page by using a little bit of bold or using a little bit of syntactic difference on the page, whether you're using a little bit of italic or a header that's in a slightly different color, something like that, to really kind of draw that subconscious interest in like, oh, this is interesting to read. As opposed to just plain black text, everything's the exact same font, exact same size. Like, we need a little bit of variety in there to keep people interested in what's actually on the page. So there are a handful of things there that would play into that. So I would generally stay away from like a 50-50 split. I think doing like a 70-30 split is fine, one way or the other. But where you put like the most meaningful content is really up to you. Just keep in mind that as readers, our eyes drift to the path of least resistance. So wherever there's more empty space, you're drawing our eye over there, because we want to go look at, sparse information to see like, oh, there's a short list over here. Let me go scan that real quick instead of this wall of text. I'm going to avoid that really thick wall of text if there's something easier that I can go read. Just subconsciously, that's how we're going to read things. And so you want to be careful about how you draw our eye across the page. And that's why when we go over to that resume sample that I was showing a minute ago, we're kind of drawing their eye to like a couple of these bolded sorts of things, and then we're bringing their eye like straight down here because all of this stuff is in bold. When we see bullet point lists, we're only picking up the first 5 or 6 words as I'm scanning down that page anyway. I'm not reading horizontally across the page, I'm skimming vertically. And so I need to see in a hurry, like, what did you do? I collaborated, I consulted, I created, built, blah, blah, blah. Like that's why you want to start those bullet points with that really strong action verb, because that's what I'm reading. That's actually what I'm skimming as I'm reading down that page. I'm not reading all the way over to the very end of the line. Like later on, you know, if you're on my maybe pile, now I'm actually going to spend probably more like 30 seconds to a minute reading back over the resume, and I'm going to pick up a lot more information. But when I'm just skimming over this the first time, you're drawing my eye, the Ian Douglas software engineer, like you're kind of setting me up if I were to build like another tab stop around here, let's say, where this blue tick is on the page. I'm really only reading this much across that page. Like imagine if that were a column all the way down the page. That's all I'm reading, is just coming straight down there going, okay, this is the project. Yep. Okay. They did that technology. Okay. Another project. It was a group project. This was their responsibility. Okay. So they're calling out how they did different things. And so you're drawing their eye down a particular path on the page. Later, when they come back, they're going to pay attention to, oh, what were the dates on these things? They might read more of the words on those lines. But to quickly skim, they need to see in a hurry, what are the skills? What are the projects? What value are you bringing? So again, as a hiring manager, what I like to see is, what do you claim to know? How have you claimed to use it? Where have you learned it? And so where you've used it could be professional experience if you're already in the industry, or it'll be project work if you're still a student or just graduated. And then all your other experience would be after that. Hey, RevCorps, good to see you. First time chat. I notice your resume sample doesn't include a bio summary. I generally don't add a bio summary on my resumes. Partly because I've been in the industry a really long time. I kind of feel like my skills are going to sort of speak for themselves. Now, that's not to say I don't ever have a summary. So the most recent job search I did last December and January, I actually did have a quick summary on there. Because I've been in the industry so long, I wanted to draw attention to, these are the things that I do. Like as a developer advocate, I have a strong passion for developer education and presenting ideas in clearly thought out manner, and so on and so on. On my programmer resume, it was about, these are the high level architecture skills that I bring. I bring architecture and scalability, resiliency, excuse me, and things, you know, of that nature. And so I did call out at a high level, like what I bring to the team. And then as a manager, you know, I'm a people first manager. I've coached and built, you know, teams of dozens of engineers and led teams of dozens, including offshore teams and so on. So on those resumes I have. On this sample though, I don't have one, partly because it's a little bit unnecessary. But again, kind of coming back to this last resume that we reviewed, in this case, their summary was so generic, it gives no value to a potential employer reading over the resume. There's like, when I read this, I don't immediately think like, oh, cool, I want you to come do that here. Because all I'm getting out of this is I want to continue to learn. I want to be proficient in these things. I like to derive improvement. It's like, okay, well, maybe that's like one thing you could come bring to the team, but this is all about like personal drive and personal ambition, not about, I want to be an AR, VR developer and I'm learning the following skills and I've built the following applications. Like you're not telling me the direction that you're taking your career. So I think for a new student, I would have a summary on there where you're telling me, you know, like I'm headed in this direction. So when I read that and go, oh, my company's also headed in that direction, like we're both going the same way. As opposed to, I'm an insurance company and you want to be a mobile developer. Like that's very incongruent and it's headed in a completely different direction than we are. And so if that were your thing, if you wanted to be a mobile game developer and I'm an insurance company, I would probably stop reading at that point and go, why are you applying to a job at an insurance company? We don't do mobile gaming. And I would probably stop reading at that point and just go, nope. Because I'm looking for a reason to say no. When I'm skinning over resumes, I'm looking for a reason to say no, pass on this person. I'm going to call someone else instead. Is a bio more relevant for someone who's just graduated? I would say yes. Because again, you want to show the direction that you're taking your career and show that you can bring that value to them. Now, as a new graduate, you're still bringing value. You're bringing fresh energy and you're bringing fresh perspectives on things. Also, really recent learning of concepts and so on. You know, maybe you're learning something new and edgy about AR and VR that, you know, the developers at my company haven't yet gotten into. Or maybe you've learned something about machine learning or data science that my team hasn't learned, or it's been a while since they've studied those algorithms and they're really fresh in your mind. And so you're bringing that fresh sort of take on things, and hopefully updated curriculum and so on. So I would say from a new grad perspective, it would be important to have. So it's really up to you whether you want to have it. I would generally say if you need room on the page, that would be the first thing to take off. Like, I would rather see all this contact information up here under this person's name and use this space for something else. Like, take the photo off of here, move all the contact information up here in a smaller font, only leave the stuff that's actually relevant, like take the GitHub profile and the Twitter profile off of here because it's not helping in this case. And put more room on the page then for showing me more projects and why your project work matters to me and my company. Thanks for checking that out. I hope that you found it helpful. I always appreciate feedback, so please let me know what you think. I appreciate any subscriptions, so please tell your friends and colleagues about it as well. Check out the website techinterview.guide for more information about when I'm live streaming and all of my free content. Drop by a live stream anytime to ask questions or message me privately, whatever makes you most comfortable. See you next time.